Welcome, everybody, to Cover Wars. I'm your host, Ajax, and with me, as always, is Seth. Seth, how's it going today?
I'm doing all right. It's a hot one here, but I'm all right.
The heat is tough this summer. Oh, my goodness. So let's just get right into it. Cover Wars is a weekly podcast where we take a popular song and uncover the top 3 cover versions of a song, ultimately revealing the best cover ever. And we do so by listening to a curated playlist of 20 handpicked versions of songs by various artists across multiple genres. Each of us ranks our personal top 5, which we reveal as a surprise in descending order from 5 to 1. I don't know what Seth's picking. Seth doesn't know what I'm picking. Then, based on our rankings and lively discussion, we will agree on the quintessential top 3 and what we deem to be the best cover ever. Today, we are going to be discussing Bruce Springsteen's classic, Dancing in the Dark. All right, so Dancing in the Dark. Seth, what are your first thoughts on the song?
Honestly, and I'm sure we'll get to this, probably the music video.
Okay, yeah, we will definitely get to the music video of the song, which is just interesting in so many respects. I do want to talk about that too. Dancing in the Dark has just been one of those songs that's always stuck with me from childhood. I mean, it's been around for a while, since 1984, and it's a classic song. It's very, very popular. So let's talk about the artist behind the hit song Dancing in the Dark. Of course, we're talking about the boss, Bruce Springsteen, one of the most popular singer-songwriters of all time, who's actually getting his own biopic this fall. Bruce Springsteen has released 21 studio albums spanning 6 decades, most albums featuring the E Street Band, his backing band since 1972. He is the pioneer of heartland rock, combining commercial rock with poetic, socially conscious lyrics that reflect working-class American life, and he's known for his energetic concerts, some of them lasting for 4 hours or more. He will be 76 years old this year, which is crazy to think about. Where has the time gone? And now we must talk about this song, Dancing in the Dark. Some surprises here. I did not know this. I didn't know it was the first single released ahead of his 1984 hit album, Born in the USA, which landed 7 singles. It was the first one. Did you know that? I didn't know that. It's crazy.
Well, I didn't.
And it also became his biggest hit. I didn't know it was his biggest hit, with all the songs that he've come out, Born in the USA, Born to Run, all the Borns, the Born Identity. This is his best-selling album of his career, too, Born in the USA, and Dancing in the Dark comes from that album. All right, what else we got? Well, Bruce wrote Dancing in the Dark overnight after his producer, John Landau, convinced the boss that the album needed a single. Bruce wasn't thrilled with the idea, but he sat in his hotel room and wrote the song in a single night. And it sums up his state of mind and his feeling of isolation after the success of his album, The River, as well as the frustrations of trying to write a hit single. So when we go over the lyrics, you can really tell that that's what the song is about. But first, like you mentioned, we have to talk about this video. The video... I remember watching this thing, not just on MTV, but on VH1. It was like in full heavy rotation. You couldn't watch a block of videos without this one popping up. So, Seth, I got to ask you, what do you remember most about Dancing in the Dark?
Okay, so as I got to grow up a little bit, I remember most Courtney Cox. So that's the right music video, right?
Right, that is correct. Yes, Courtney Cox does appear in this music video. So Dancing in the Dark was 1984. It was a live performance with early Courtney Cox 10 full years before Friends premiered, which is crazy to think about. She is the fan that he pulls up on stage. This video is actually directed by Brian De Palma, of all people, of Mission Impossible and Mission to Mars and other missions. Courtney Cox was very apprehensive about the role, as she later stated she was secretly hoping not to get picked. And Bruce was unaware that Cox was a professional actor and thought she was just a pre-selected fan. So at the time, Courtney Cox was acting in a soap opera called As the World Turns. It wasn't until a full 10 years later when Friends first aired that everyone would be making that connection. So yeah, it's very funny that during the video, it's when he says, "Hey, baby," and then he pulls her up on stage. It's so funny to think that like back then you're like, oh, that's just part of the video. But obviously that's staged and planned. She gets up there and dances, but it's only like the last 45 seconds of the video, but it's the most memorable part, of course. So yeah, Courtney Cox. It's just funny to think about. All right. So you're ready for these lyrics. You can dive into some dancing in the dark lyrics.
We can try to dissect them if you want.
Oh, yes. So I'll step in anytime. It's very interesting knowing that he wrote this begrudgingly in a night, it's just funny to think about that because then it makes a lot of the stuff makes a lot more sense now too. So here we go. I get up in the evening. And some people say I wake up in the evening, like some of the artists. It's get up, but okay. I get up in the evening, and I ain't got nothing to say. I come home in the morning. I go to bed feeling the same way. Life of a rock star right there. I ain't nothing but tired. Man, I'm just tired and bored with myself. Hey there, baby. I could use just a little help. You can't start a fire. You can't start a fire without a spark. This gun's for hire. Even if we're just dancing in the dark. So that to me is about inspiration. And it's like, well, you can't force art, you can't rush art. So in line with his producer's like, hey, come on, let's make a hit. We got to have a hit for the song. We got to have a single. It's like, well, you can't start a fire. You can't start a fire without a spark. Come on now. And then the hired gun metaphor, it's just funny. Then he says, messages keep getting clearer. Radio's on and I'm moving around my place. So his inspiration's starting to build a little bit, I check my look in the mirror, want to change my clothes, my hair, my face. Everybody's so, self-criticizing. Man, I ain't getting nowhere. I'm just living in a dump like this. There's something happening somewhere. Baby, I just know that there is. FOMO, perhaps? The first signs of FOMO right there. It's like, I'm in this hotel room. I could be out partying with the band or something, And then back to the chorus.
I get that. Now that you say that, yeah.
Yeah, I like that. And then just the just the self-realization. You sit around getting older. There's a joke here somewhere, and it's on me. I'll shake this world off my shoulders. Come on, baby. The laugh's on me. Just the brilliance of that songwriting, I'll shake this world off my shoulders. I love that. Stay on and that was the bridge, by the way. And then the third verse, stay on the streets of this town, and they'll be carving you up all right. They say you gotta stay hungry. Hey, baby, I'm just about starting tonight. I'm dying for some action. I'm sick of sitting around here trying to write this book. So maybe back to the song that he was forced to write. It's not a book. You don't have to write a book. You just write, one song, right? I need a love reaction. Come on now, baby. Give me just one look. So yeah, again, it's just like, what am I missing out on here? It's just funny.
Yeah.
And then I love how when you get a really good singer-songwriter, how they switch up the chorus. They don't keep it the same bars every time. So he throws some extra lines in there for the last chorus outro where it's, you can't start a fire. And instead of can't start a fire without a spark, he says, sitting around crying over a broken heart. This gun's for hire, even if we're just dancing in the dark. Then you can't start a fire worrying about your little world falling apart. I love that one. Worrying about your little world falling apart. So just putting it into perspective for him. And then back to this guns for hire, and then the repeat of even if we're just dancing in the dark. And then ends with another, hey, baby. And then that's when he pulls up Courtney Cox. So, it's just great. I love this song. I think this is just one of those classic Bruce written songs. He is just a phenomenal singer-songwriter, and I think very deserving of all the fame and the praise he's gotten over the years. And then, that aforementioned album, The River, just a classic. What do you think about Bruce Springsteen personally?
Oh, I respect him a lot. I think, like you mentioned, he's a great singer-songwriter. When I think of him, I guess the first thing I think of is actually The Boss, because he that's what he's widely known to become known, and he deserves it. So that's a great nickname, and I think he deserves it. But Yeah, I think of like, I guess for a lot of his early stuff, I wasn't alive, so I've gotten to know it as I get older, and I get to appreciate it more and more, really, as it goes on.
Yeah, it's just prolific, one of the greatest of all time, one of the best to ever do it, and just very, very influential, of course. And you can see the influence over all these songs that we have. So we have a playlist of 20 that we've chosen. We've gone through all of these artists, and now's the time where Seth and I pick our personal top 5 from our playlist. So let's get right into it, Seth. What is your number 5?
At number 5, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, so hopefully you can help me. Is
Uh-oh.
it Juanes?
Juanes, that's correct, yes. All
Okay.
right.
I really,
Interesting out of the
yeah.
gate.
I'll let you talk about the bio there.
Okay. Well, I don't have a whole lot. I can tell you that Juanes is extremely popular. He's a huge Latin artist with 17.5 million Spotify listeners in 1 month. And I mean, he's got a ton of Latin Grammys. Has a lot of crossover too, but when he crosses over, his vocals stay the same. We don't go, making them English versions of his songs. They stay Latin, but they still sound so good. This particular version of Dancing in the Dark is from his album Origin, which came out in 2021. But yeah, just very, very, very popular Latin artist. So what did you like the most about this song?
So I'm not fluent in Spanish, but the lyrical changes and structure are very different. And the song is very melodic and pleasant. And that's what all I can really say. Another thing I want to add about my top 5, and I think you felt the same way about it, even though I don't know what your top 5 is that they're kind of interchangeable. I think upon mood, maybe. But we'll get into that, I guess.
Yeah, I was able to narrow mine down, but it was difficult. I mean, I struggled with this one because I did know of a few covers. In fact, there was one that I'll mention in honorable mentions later on that got me the idea of, oh, we can cover Dancing in the Dark on this podcast and, have a good time with it, because I don't really know who a number one would be. Well, I know what my number one is now. But yeah, very tough just because, yeah, there's a lot of moods here. There's a lot of eclectic artists, but they kind of stay true to the original in a lot of respects. But Juanes, what's interesting about Latin artists with using Spanish is that the rhyme scheme isn't always there. And typically not when you're translating in a song from English to Spanish. It's not going to rhyme the same, but it still has that same beat. And as long as the cadence and the pentameter and everything matches up, it's kind of nice. But yeah, I did like his version. It's not in my top 5, but I love that that's your number 5. All right, so we'll go on to now my number 5, which just so happens to be singer-songwriter Pete Yorn. Pete Yorn is somebody who I have always known about. I actually listened to an album he released not too long ago in 2021, which was a covers album called Pete Yorn Sings the Classics. A lot of great songs on there that he does. But his very first album, which was called Music for the Morning After, released in 2001, this album, critically acclaimed, excellent, just a phenomenal voice and his harmonica. He brings harmonica to the forefront here in this cover, Dancing in the Dark. And this is from the expanded edition of his first album called Music for the Morning After. And I highly recommend it. If you have not heard that album, definitely go check it out. He's got these indie rock folk vibes, excellent covers, but also excellent original music too. So definitely check out Pete Yorn. And that is my number 5. What do you think of Pete Yorn?
Love Pete Yorn. I've been a fan for a long time, since the first album.
Gotcha. Awesome. Well, great. Okay, so now we will go to Seth. Your number 4. What is your number 4?
I'm going to shake it up a bit. I got number 4. I got the Jackknives.
Ooh, okay. That is shaking up quite a bit. The Jackknives. Okay, so the Jackknives, will give you a little brief history here from them. They are an OC California rock band, only a band for a short amount of time, just from the last 7 years. This is from their album Into the Night. They are led by a British singer-songwriter, and they have this edgy, catchy, infectious pop-punk kind of sound to them, but they also kind of lean a little more toward an Americana rock vibe as well. So they're somewhere in between. I really like their sound. What do you like the most about this version of the song?
90s, 90s, 90s. It had a very big 90s vibe, and I'm a fan of the 90s music, so yeah.
That's great. Yeah, I like the contrast of the vocals here. It's sped up, of course. It's not laid back and slow like the original is. But yeah, just really, really cool version. This is the version that I heard recently that got me thinking, oh, I can do a show on this.
Very
The
cool.
Jackknives version. Yeah, I really, really like it. So awesome that you picked that for your number 4. Very close to putting that on my top 5. But ultimately, I like some more a little bit better. And so my number 4 is from a band called Cannons. Cannons from their 2021 EP Covers by Cannons. They're an indie pop band fronted by vocalist Michelle Joy. And they also add a tinge of dream pop, synthwave, and electro pop, all of which are very present on this version. And the reason I love it so much is just right from the start, you hear this echoey effect in Michelle's voice and all the way through the song that just adds such a layer to this version that it appeals to me in ways that I didn't realize that I would like it as much when I went back and listened to it, because I really do love the band Cannons a lot. I didn't remember this cover until I heard it. And so this is one I kind of went back and forth on, but ultimately had to put it in my top 5 because I just love that echo effect that they use. What do you think of Cannons?
I did like that version. It's this playlist that you made. It was actually so good. Like I was saying, it was hard to narrow down these ones. So they didn't make my honorable mentions, but yeah, I did like that one.
So this is already, I'm telling you, this is going to be a hard top 3 for each of us. I mean, we'll see what happens in our top 3, but I can already kind of tell this is going to be difficult. So what then is your number 3, Seth?
Again, I'm going to butcher the name. Is it Mark Skiglia?
Another artist I'm not 100% familiar with. I would say Mark Scabilia or Sibilia, but I don't know. We could both be completely wrong. Sibilia or Scabilia.
Yeah.
All right. And so Mark Sibilia from a 2020 EP called Versions. I like a lot of these EPs that they're throwing out with just like randomly named versions, cover versions. You know, it's like, we get it. He's from Buffalo, New York. He's a singer-songwriter. And he kind of has like a pop rock folk vibe. He has 800,000 monthly listeners. I was very shocked to find that out. Not based on his music, because his music sounds great, but based on the fact that I'm not really familiar at all with him. So what did you like the most about this song?
So you're gonna know exactly what I'm talking about when I say it. So I thought it was very Billy Joel-esque.
Oh, okay.
As if Billy Joel had wrote the song, it would have sounded just like that. So I thought it was a really different take on it, and I really dug it. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think this is one that stays true to the original version, probably more than most of them, and it gives you that singer-songwriter vibe. Just a very, very cool touch, and his vocals are just great with it. Very... I wouldn't say samey or copycatty, but I would say they come the closest to Bruce's. There's maybe one other artist on this playlist that I thought maybe came closer. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed this version too. And he's also in my honorable mentions. He almost made my cut. So Mark Skabilia. All right. So nothing has repeated yet. So my number 5 was Pete Yorn. My number 4 was Cannons. Your number 5 was Juanes. Your number 4 was Jackknives. And number 3, Mark Skabilia. So now we will go into my top 3. My number 3 is an artist. I've loved this artist for so long. And there's just this thing with him that it used to bother me, no longer bothers me, but he sings through his nose. And it's cool. Some artists they have this nasal thing, they sing through their nose.
Yeah.
He does it, but he fine tunes it and he makes it sound amazing. This is an artist that a lot of people have heard his songs but don't know the name, because you hear him in grocery stores and you hear him in department stores and you hear him on the radio. But his name is Matt Carney, and it's Matt with one T, M-A-T, and then Carney is spelled Kearney. And I must admit that for a long time, I called him Matt Kearney, because that's what his name is spelled. It's how it looks. But it's Matt Carney. This version of the song is actually on several live albums, but the one I put on the playlist and the one I love the most is off of his live 2009 album. And he recorded this live from the Electric Lady Studios in New York. And it's just such a gorgeous, heartfelt version. And you can tell that he loves this song. You can tell he performs it all the time. I wouldn't be surprised if he came out and said it was his favorite song, and you can surely tell. I mean, he is from Eugene, Oregon originally. He's based out of Nashville. Now he has 9 studio albums, 5 hit singles, and I guarantee you have heard his song even if you don't know his name. What do you think of Matt Carney?
I love Matt Carney. I think he's got a great great voice, and it's very different. It's distinctive. It's not your cookie cutter, like pop folksy singer-songwriter. It's a very unique, and it hits you right when you first hear it. It cuts right through.
I love that. That's a great way to put it. I mean, that's better than I could put it. So good stuff. Okay, so we've got our top 3s. Completely different. No artist has repeated yet. This is going to be so tough. I can't wait to see what struggle we have to deal with here. So number 2 now. What is your number 2, Seth?
I have some artist named Matt Carney.
Oh, I think did we just talk about Matt Carney? I think in a way, I'm relieved now that we have a repeat artist. Because it's going to make it a little easier on us now. So, of course, we just talked about Matt Carney. Do you have any more insight into why he's such a great talent, other than what we just talked about?
Personal experience.
Oh, please do.
I saw him live one time.
Great. Okay.
And he was wonderful. And this version is so strong and distinctive. It's like a distinctive take. Like I said, it's just so different than your average cookie cutter version. And I ate it up.
I love that. I mean, you can tell the passion in his vocals when he's singing it. You know, he's singing it for real because he loves the song and he's heard it so many times. He's probably played it live so many times. If you have 2 albums floating on Spotify that are live albums and you have this song on your live versions, you know he's going to like it. So that's just great, dude. So what about my take on his nasally singing? What do you think about that? Do you agree with that, or do you know what I'm talking about? How he kind of sings through his nose a little?
I do. He is a little nasally, yes.
I mean that in a good way. I mean, he's in my top 5.
No. I usually get annoyed by that, but it doesn't bother me at all with him. He's got such a toned in, like a honed in vocal, and it's so pleasant. I just love it. It
works for him where it doesn't work for other artists, where, you know, he also kind of sounds like he just woke up too, but that adds to the sound. That makes him like if you listen to a Matt Carney song, you're like, did this guy just wake up? Did he just roll out of bed and start recording the song? But it makes it sound so good. I don't know what it is. It's something about it, but I love it. So Matt Carney, you're number 2. Okay. So now it's time for my number 2. My number 2 is a singer-songwriter. Her name is Lucy Dacus. Lucy Dacus. This is from an EP released in 2019 called, are you ready for this? 2019. That's right. The EP is called 2019. There's just something about the tone in Lucy's voice. Lucy is 1/3 of Boy Genius. She has 4 solo studio albums. She is from Richmond, Virginia. And the tone, the production quality, the speed of the song too. This kind of flies by. It's a quicker version. And I think there's a lot of talent to be had in an artist who can quickly go through a song that's normally at a lower tempo and deliver it with just such passion and such vulnerability to her voice. I love it so much. She just released her her new album, her fourth one, Forever is a Feeling, and wow, it's such a good album. I just love Lucy Dacus, and that is my number 2. Do you have any thoughts on Lucy Dacus?
No, I don't really recall. It was sure it was good because they were all good. There wasn't a bad song in the 20 that you gave me, so I'm sure it was good. I just don't recall that one. I'm sorry.
It's all good. No, hey, you don't need to be sorry. So far, we have one that matches, and now we're going to find out what Seth has picked for his number 1 song. Seth, what is your number 1?
My number 1 is a little guy I've never heard of before named Pete Yorn.
Oh my goodness. So the way you described Pete the first time I had him as my number 5, I suspected he would be at the top of this list. I wasn't for certain, but wow, I love that he's sitting at the very top. So why is he your number 1 choice, though?
I absolutely love this version. What you said was perfect. The harmonica brought it home. It's a great take on the original, not too different from sticking to the template, but also sounds like Pete Yorn all the way through. It's his song. I mean, it's like straight up his song. So, if you know Pete Yorn, you'll be like, did he write that song?
Well, and so he's somebody who, once the song starts, the song gets better and doesn't stop and doesn't go back to sounding like it does in the beginning. And that's kind of how all of his songs are. You start catching the vibe, and then halfway through the song, you're like, this song's getting really good, and it's staying really good, and it doesn't stop being good all the way through and just keeps getting better. And that's what happens here. It's funny, he does the count off the 1, 2, 3, 4 and goes right into it. And then what I notice is this is young Pete Yorn. Doesn't sing all of a word, doesn't have he doesn't articulate, but he has his style. And it's something about his style that really brings that song home, like you said. So love it. I love that that's your number 1. We have 2 repeats, and it will stay 2 repeats. So this is going to make life difficult for us, because my number 1 coming up, I'll give you in just a second. But before I get to my number 1, Seth, I know you wanted to say something about cover songs in general. And then also, we got to do our honorable mentions. So what are some honorable mentions as well?
So honorable mentions, first I would say, this might surprise you, Scary Pockets.
Oh, wow. It does surprise me.
Darren Criss version. I really like that. I thought it was very cool and catchy, and it didn't get to be annoying like some of them after you hear them 1,000 times. You know what I mean?
Right.
Some of them be like, okay, I've heard this before. And then the second would be Harmonies version?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. So Harmonies
was very different and calming and cool. Yeah.
So Harmonies, just real quick, because we haven't talked about them yet. They're a Nashville indie duo consisting of Haley Grant and Kaylee Jasperson. Yeah. So that version was from 2018. And then you mentioned Scary Pockets with Darren Criss. That version was from Scary Pockets. They broke it up, and that was the name of the album from 2019. And of course, that version featured Darren Criss. But also Scary Pockets, it features Jack from Pomplamoose. And Pomplamoose was also on this playlist. And Pomplamoose, a duo of Jack and Natalie Dawn, who were a couple who made music together with their friends for a long, long time on YouTube. And they're still around, still doing some stuff here and there. But it's interesting that Jack from Pomplamoose fronts Scary Pockets. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, now I know him. So interesting.
All right.
Right.
All right. I also wanted to say that, so I feel like with this list, many of the artists didn't really stray from the structure or the chord arrangements. They didn't really change the chord. There wasn't a whole lot of chord changes from the original. But in my theory, as I mentioned last episode, that great songs could be covered in multiple genres. However, with this song, they didn't take enough liberties, in my opinion, and it could have really shook things up a little bit more if they would have just changed it a little bit, played it with the melody and everything a little bit more. That's probably why I put the Spanish version at number 5, because it was so different.
Right.
And I like that. I thought that was really cool.
I love that. I mean, and you're not wrong at all. It's very true. And I know you mentioned something offline to me that you thought that they might have figured that the original was untouchable. And I can see where you're coming from with that. I mean, because there's a lot of respect for the boss. You got to respect Bruce Springsteen, one of the most legendary singer-songwriters of all time, especially out of, the United States. I mean, this is somebody who just you don't want to mess it up. If you do a cover, you want to make sure that the cover is solid and that it really hits all the right notes. And so I think that's 100% true. Time now for my honorable mentions. And I also have Mr. Mark Scabilla on this list too. Just love that voice of his. I think he did a great job. Just missed my top 5. You also mentioned the Jackknives. The Jackknives also just missed my top 5, and they're the reason why we have this episode and that we're doing Dancing in the Dark. And then there was another artist I was intrigued by named Eddie Berman on this list, another singer-songwriter. His version came from the 2013 EP Blood and Rust. He has 365,000 monthly listeners on Spotify. But there's also a female vocal accompanying his that he didn't credit on the song. I don't know who that was, but I think she added just a lovely tone to the vocals as well. He's a Portland-based folk artist, and I really admired his as well. And then just one more I'll mention. Actually, I'll mention 2 more. One, Alex Melton, who is this just great artist who puts out a bunch of cover songs. He does make his own music too, but he has this pop punk vibe and does a lot of pop punk versions of country songs and Blink-182 songs. He makes Blink-182 songs country, and he makes pop punk versions of all these different country artists too. So very cool vibes. He's out of the Southern California area as well. And Walk Off the Earth, who is just a hugely successful and very popular Toronto-based just group of artists who are incredible. They have 2.1 million monthly listeners on Spotify. They have a ton of covers and a bunch of great albums of their own as well. And now their kids are grown up, and well, their kids are kids, but their kids are making music with them too. And I just think that's great. Their whole family is just awesome. And that's Walk Off the Earth. Their version is just really fun and catchy, and I thought it was a really good time too. And that version of that song came out in 2022. So that's my honorable mention. So here is my number 1. And my number 1 is none other than Lolo. Lolo's version of the song Dancing in the Dark is my favorite. I absolutely love this thing. It's the one I kept going back to over and over and over again. Yes, it's a synth-filled, bubbly pop version of the song, but I think that's why I liked it so much. It's just such a contrast from the original. And against the grit of Bruce Springsteen's voice, her bubbly pop vocals just stand out. This was a standalone track. She has 655,000 monthly Spotify listeners. But I just think she has a beautiful voice. She has 1 album and 3 EPs and was made famous from TikTok. But this version, I could listen to this version over and over again. It's so good. And that is why it's my number 1. So now, Seth, we have a challenge amongst us to make this top 3 and to come up with our number 1. Okay, so first of all, we have 2 repeating artists in our top 5. We have Pete Yorn and Matt Carney. So those 2 will not be difficult. The difficult one comes from our other artists. So your number 1 was Pete Yorn. He's my number 5. Your number 2 was Matt Carney. He's my number 3. All right. So even 1 and 2 there is going to be somewhat difficult. And then we have who would be our number 3. Well, your 3, 4, and 5. Your number 5 was Juanes. Your number 4 was Jackknives. Your number 3 was Mark Scabilla. My number 5 was Pete Yorn. My number 4 was Cannons. My number 3 was Matt Carney. My number 2 was Lucy Dacus. And my number 1 was Lolo. So we take the highest ranking one out of each of ours that the other did not have. Mine is Lolo. And then yours would be Mark Scabilla. Now, Lolo was my number 1. All right.
Yeah.
Mark Scabilla would have been like number 7 if I would have taken it out that far. Mark Scabilia was your number 3. So it gets really, really tricky for me. What are your thoughts just looking at it like that?
Logically, I gotta say what our number 1 is. I mean, you would think, wouldn't you, that Matt would be number 1?
I believe so. As far as the ranking is concerned, what's crazy is this is going to be a live version of the song, because I did not find any studio version, but I really love that version of the song. So Matt Carney at number 1. Yeah. And then number 2 has to be Pete Yorn, because it's on both of ours. I mean, it's your number 1, it's my number 5. It has to be Pete Yorn. So number 3, what do you think about Lolo versus Mark Scabilia for that cover war? Who comes out on top?
I'm okay with Lolo, because I really like that version, and it was going to be in my honorable mentions, but I didn't put it in there because there was just so many great versions of this song. I mean, just so many great versions of this
I think we did it. It was easier than I thought with your help and your assistance, so thank you very much. Here is your top 3 songs, top 3 cover versions of Bruce Springsteen's Dancing in the Dark are as follows. Number 3, Lolo. Number 2, Pete Yorn. And number 1, Matt Carney. So the best cover version of all time, according to us, is Matt Carney's version of Dancing in the Dark. All right. Well, I got to say, thank you so much for joining me again, Seth, for this episode of Cover Wars. Before we get into our next week's episode, where can we find you on the old socials there?
So you can find me and my friend Isaac on Movies at Grandma's House podcast. Where we review kids' movies from the past, and on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Also, you can check us out on our newsletter, and we are on Patreon now. So we're pretty available if you Google us or whatever.
Excellent. And yes, I highly recommend and second all of that. I will also say our podcast, Cover Wars, you can find us on TikTok at Cover Wars, but most importantly on YouTube at Cover Wars Podcast. We also have a Facebook page dedicated called Cover Wars Podcast as well. Make sure you like and subscribe and add us on all of those. And next week, we will be covering a little song called Nothing Compares to You, originally by Prince. We will give you our top 3 covers and our ultimate number 1, which, you might already have one in mind for this one, as many would, but does it hold up? Is it still the number 1 cover? Because we're going to listen to 19 other covers, not just the one you're thinking about, and we're going to see if that holds up. So thank you so much, Seth, for joining us. Thank you for listening to Cover Wars. And hey, when you're out there all alone and you don't want to hear the original song of a version of a song, but you want to hear like a bunch of other covers, well, here at Cover Wars, we got you covered, okay? All right. Bye, everybody. Thanks again for listening.